I am using a blue chopping board. Para wala akong cross-contamination na magagawa. There you go. Red yung chopping board na ginagamit ko ngayon. Dahil nag-chop ako ng bacon, we are actually practicing the color coding chopping boards. Sa bahay namin or in any restaurants, you'll find color-coded chopping boards. And then at least once a week, dinidisinfect namin siya. Hi! Hello everyone! Welcome to Julian's Kitchen. For today's episode, maiba lang. We're not gonna cook. We will have a little discussion about chopping boards. Bakit? Kasi itong mga nakarang episodes, napansin namin sa mga comment section, marami talagang interested. Ano ba yung color coding? Why do we have to use different types of chopping board for different types of protein or different types of ingredients? It's very, very important that you know how to use your chopping board para nyo siya i-disinfect dahil ang cross-contamination, yan talaga ang malaking part or malaking factor para magkaroon ng salmonella, E. coli, and all. Dahil dito tayo nagsisimulang mag-prepare ng ingredients natin bago pa iluto. So let us discuss. I have here my colored chopping boards. So, I have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why? Kasi dito sa kusina namin sa Bakawan, sa kusina ako sa Bakawan, since I do a lot of heavy cooking here, it's very important na particular ako sa mga chopping boards ko. Because, in many cases, cross-contamination, cutting boards are a prime culprit. Sila talaga ang may sala. Pag hindi sila na lilinis ng maayos at hindi nyo sila ginagamit ng tama, okay, baka naman sabihin po ninyo, masyado magastos. Marami naman na akong chopping board sa bahay. Then, okay lang. Kung marami na po kayong chopping board sa bahay, you can use that and dedicate a certain chopping board for your dairy, for your poultry. Poultry is very important kasi dyan talaga nag-build ang salmonella. You have your red meats. Red meats includes beef and pork. You have for seafood, for cooked food, for fruits and veggies. So, ito yung sa akin. So, white is for dairy. Yellow is for poultry. Green is for fruits and veggies. Blue is for seafood. Red is for red meat. And brown is for cooked meat. Importante siya kasi lalo na kapag naghihiwa kayo ng poultry, importante, as soon as matapos ninyong gamitin yung chopping board na ginamit ninyo para sa manok, wag nyo talaga siyang ilalatag lang ng ganyan, tapos hayaan nyo lang. Kasi nagluluto kayo, tapos nakatiwangwang lang siyang ganyan. Doon na magsisimulang mag-build yung bacteria. Once that happens, please remember to get a lemon, wipe lemon. So, kung halimbawa, may mga nagamit na kayong lemon, di ba? Huwag nyo itatapon. Kasi, kahit hindi pa time na linisin yung chopping board, gamitin nyo yung pinagpigaan nyo ng lemon kasi para masulit nyo. Medyo hindi naman din mura tong lemon, di ba? So, you want to just keep on rubbing the lemon there. Squeeze nyo ng konti kasi may juice pa naman siya. Yung acid ng lemon will break down the bacteria and it will kill them. So, you put your salt and you rub it para mas deeper yung pagkakalinis sa kanya and pagkaka-disinfect sa kanya. May natural disinfecting agent talaga, ang lemon. Same goes with salt. So, yung impurities ng chopping board ninyo, especially pag chicken or isda, mawawala siya, magdi-disinfect siya. And you wanna make sure na i-rinse nyo siya after. Pag na-rinse nyo na siya, you can either wipe it off or let it dry. Yan. So, makikita nyo naman natutunaw na yung asin, diba? So, yan na yung nagsascrub ng mga impurities niya. It's very important. Actually, sinabi ko before, pwede namang once a week lang yung pag-disinfect. Pero kung heavy cooking yung ginawa ninyo, you can always use your lemon and salt mixture kapag nagluluto kayo. Lalo na nga, pag may ginamit na kayong lemon, linisin nyo na yung chopping board nyo para hindi sayang yung ingredient, diba? Just take out the salt. You can rinse it. Nakita nyo naman medyo luma na yung mga chopping board ko, but it's still in good condition. Ang maganda lang kasi dito, sa plastic chopping board, pwede nyo siyang gamitin ng magkabilaan. It doesn't matter as long as bago nyo gamitin, linisin nyo muna. At least rinse it with water, just so alam nyo na walang ibang sasama sa pagkain na ginagawa ninyo. And then, I have another set of chopping boards. This is wood. Itong wood naman na to, pwede nyo rin linisin with lemon and salt, and then just make sure, para magkaroon siya ng coating, just wipe it off with, let's say, mineral oil or any edible oil. Wag lang olive oil because yung olive oil, lalasa siya sa pagkain. Kaya kailangan, i-coat nyo din siya ng oil. Now, this chopping board is also nice to have at some point. Itong chopping board na to, meron siyang kanalo. So, dito ako naghihiwa ng lutong pagkain and ginagamit ko na rin to as a serving board. Dito ako naghihiwa ng steak, dito ako naghihiwa ng chicken, ng roast chicken, kasi yung liquid niya kapag hiniwa siya, kumakalat siyang ganyan, gumaganyan, kumakalat siya. So, gusto niyo siyang hindi umapaw naman sa table. So, yan ang use niya. So, it's also nice that mag-invest kayo sa isang magandang wooden chopping board kasi dual purpose siya. You can use it as a chopping board and you can also use it as a serving platter. Again, you don't have to buy a new set of chopping boards. But if you want a color-coded one, very advisable. But if not, halimbawa, meron na kayo existing chopping board, gaya na sinabi ko kanina, lagyan nyo lang ng label sa ilalim. This is for fish, this is for poultry, ito yung pang dairy, ito yung ano. Pwede nyo pa rin siyang gamitin. Hindi nyo kailangan bumili ng bago kung marami naman na kayong existing chopping boards. I don't recommend using the glass ones kasi napakadelikado nun. Lalo na kapag medyo mabigat ang kamay nyo at nabasag siya, may factor na pwedeng sumama yung glass shards sa niluluto ninyo or sa pagkain mismo nang hindi nyo napapansin. Before you know it, may nabilao ka na, may sumama na yan sa katawan ninyo, and hindi natin alam kung ano magiging cause and effect nun. Okay, sana kung basta na lang nilalabas, di ba? Eh, kung iba naman ang effect doon sa nakakain or nakakonsume, medyo nakakatakot. So, we have to be safe. And being safe starts with food prepping. And when you food prep, it starts with your chopping board. So, I hope I was able to give a lot of information sa mga chopping boards sa inyong lahat. Maiksi man ang episode natin ngayon, hindi ibig sabihin wala akong naituro, di ba? Hindi ibig sabihin wala kayong natutunan. So just feel free to recommend any suggestions kung ano pa ba yung gusto niyo matutunan in anything about kitchen, anything about cooking. For now, our first discussion is about chopping boards. Very simple, very basic, but very, very important. And that's it! Ang bilis, di ba? Parang pumikit lang kayo, tapos na. Kalma-kalma lang, guys. Hindi lahat ng pagkakataon magluluto tayo. May mga moments na magchichikahan din tayo. So, ipunin niyo yung mga tanong ninyo at sasagutin ko yan sa tamang panahon. Okay? Gets to gets? So, yan po ang episode natin for Julian's Kitchen today. I do hope you can still join me again next Wednesday. Promise, magluluto na tayo. See you guys. Don't forget, always be kind, be grateful, and please pay it forward. God bless you all. Bye!
Yes, Chef! Yes, Chef!
Yee! Kasi ito, chopping board na to. Yellow is for red meats. Red meats includes beef and yun talaga siya. Ilalatag lang ng ganyan.